participant to please keep your video off so that we can see the full screen from Professor Pratham.
Yeah. May Professor Sanjeev, if you can unshare the slides. Yeah. So I believe like you all can see the plant. So a very good afternoon once again. I believe you had a great experience in today's session. And like any training program, this training program would be incomplete if you don't show the knowledge that you have gained so far in action. So this is one of those ways, and it's a 20 TBD plant that we have in Haridwar. I'm able as well as my voice is audible to everyone.
Yes, you're audible.
Hello, Dr. Pratham.
Yes, admin, can you check with the issues?
So I think he's coming down.
Yeah. So I'm sorry for that, but because I am in a remote area, and so please bear with me when the net connection issues are there. So I'm giving you another view of the plant. So this is the plant, and it's between the fields. So we are in a completely rural area. The nearest city that we have is around 15 kilometers away from here. And you can see like there are nice fields around, and all these fields are using the organic manure that is produced by this plant. So to repeat again, so this is a 20 TBD plant that is run completely on cattle dung. So we have a cow shelter nearby, which houses 5,000 cows, and they are producing a good amount of cattle dung. And this is what is being used for production of biogas. This biogas is then refined and compressed in the cylinders that you can see in here, and they are supplied to a nearby pharmacy, which would be using this gas for heating purposes. So they're supplying around 96% purified methane at around 150 bars. And now let's start with the process. So here you can see there is a tractor with a trolley standing, and this tractor is full of cow dung. And let me go down and show you the feeding process. So this is again a ground view of the plant. The plant, as you can see, is roughly 5 meters above the ground, and it's another 1.5 or 2 meters below the ground as well. And you can see two pits in here. So this is the feeding pit, and we will have the feeding in front of you right now. So the cattle dung is being fed now. Okay. So yeah, this is the whole cattle dung being fed into the input slurry tank. So I'm trying to give you a nearer view. So you have the stirrer running inside it. I believe you can see the stirrer. And this is basically the mixing. And we also have a water supply. So 1:1 water is added to this tank to make the slurry. And as you have seen, the cattle dung is quite dry. You prepare a slurry like this in this tank, which is being made. And there's also provision for recycling some of the output sludge. So we have the sludge tank just next to it. And some of the liquids from the sludge is also recycled back. Then we have a mud pump that is attached. Sorry. So there is a mud pump that is attached to the green pipe that pumps the slurry all the way to the top of the tank or the digester. So this is the mud pump that is right now submerged into the slurry, and this is how the pipe is going to the top of the digester. There's another mechanism that is behind this that is composed of screw pumps, and that pushes the slurry to the bottom of the digester. So at any particular point of time, either it's the mud pump operator or the screw pump that is operated. So let me take you to the top of the tank where the gas is being produced. And also to show you, there's a mechanism in here. There's a big cylinder that you can see in. This is the heating mechanism. So we have hot water being circulating during the winter time so as to maintain the mesophilic conditions, maintaining a temperature that is beyond 20 degrees Celsius. So we are in the northern part of the country where the temperature often dips to around 5 degrees Celsius or lesser, and the microbes would not be very happy with these kinds of temperature. So we have the water circulation system in here that you can see in front of you that would be circulating hot water to maintain the temperature condition. So I will try to take you to the top of the digester now.
Yes. Also, I would like to say that participants can also ask the questions in between from our guide.
Yeah, so they can ask in between, or at the end, I will be with the plant operator as well. So if there are any question with the operation of the plant, I believe the plant operator would be the best person to answer it because he has the experience day in and day out. So now what I have taken you is on the top of the biogas digester. So this, we are again the top of the digester that you have seen earlier. This, you can see the gas cleaning mechanism. And this is the wall through which the biogas is pumped out. This is a bag, an air bag, you can see this. There's biogas filled in it. And beyond that, the opening that you see is the input for this slurry, the input slurry. Output is from the bottom of the digester. So the first thing that happens is it goes to the separator. So you can see the separator in front of you. And what it would be doing is it will be separating the solid contents, and the liquid content would be going through the sludge tank. And the sludge tank then can recycle some of the amount to the slurry as well. And the solid would be used for refining and producing more manure. But first, let me take you to the gas cleaning mechanism. So you have the gas output that is in front of you, and this gas output then goes to that refining unit. So now I'll take you to the refining unit and show you the operations there. Another thing to note in here, because we are having a top view, that there's a lot of solar power is also installed here. So they have almost 200 kilowatts of solar power, which is used to provide in-house electricity for all the electricity needs. Not to mention again, you can see the fields. There's nice sugarcane fields in here, and behind that you can also see rice growing, rice or paddy. And everything around this, most of the crops around this plant are being like matured or being fed by the manure and the liquid fertilizer that we produce in here. So the gas pipeline that came in comes out in here and then goes to the scrubber unit. I'll take you inside the plant. the gas is coming in here, and this is the water scrubbing unit. This unit is to remove some amount of H2S and other impurities. You can see the water coming in out here. So this is normal water scrubbing. And once the scrubbing is done, we have a desulfurization unit, which takes place through catalyst. So you have the desulfurizer in front of you. And after desulfurization, we have the pressure sink adsorption unit. So these are two towers in parallel. So this is a vacuum pressure sink adsorption. So at one point of time,
I mean, if I can ask quickly in between.
Yeah, do you want to ask something?
So I have one question which I can ask. May I ask the question now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Am I audible?
Yeah, please.
Okay, yes. So can you please quickly tell us what is the feed rate per meter cube per day for this plant, and what's the gas production efficiency, the energy content, also about the digest rate and slurry, requirements.
Okay, sure. So the feed rate is 20 tons per day, and this is done throughout the day. And the gas production that we are having is 1000 meter cube per day, and this is then concentrated around 420 meter cube. As far as the digester is concerned, it's around 18 tons, and out of that, 12 tons is liquid fertilizer, and another 6 tons is solid fertilizer. The methane content that is coming in the gas is around 52%. I believe that answers your question.
Is it the Indian technology or this technology?
Yes, thank you so much.
Answers the question.
It's an Indian technology, and you can see like the manufacturer is Atmos Power, so that's a Delhi-based company. So it's a totally Indian-based technology. Some of the compressors are imported ones, but this technology is Indian.
Then is there any environmental concerns about this thing? Any environmental clearance and other part? How you are getting on?
Sorry?
Environmental clearance for this sort of, because it's a large scale, then how you are disposing to the plant, areas like that?
I am not the right person to answer that. I can check with the plant manufacturers and then come back to you.
Thank you.
Okay, so let me repeat again, like this is a vacuum pressure sink adsorption unit, and behind that we also have another small PSA unit. So the task of this is that, like the PSA unit would have an off gas that would have around 10% of methane. So they want to capture that methane again and bring that to the level of around, again to the biogas level, so that it can be recycled back again. So we have two PSA units, 2 beds are here, the main bed, and 2 beds is the recycle. That is basically meant to increase the efficiency of the whole process. And we also have a bag in here. So this bag you can see is also filled with biogas. And the purpose of this bag is that in case the pressure is not sufficient for the compressors, this can provide us an excess pressure. So I want to repeat again now, this is a vacuum pressure sink adsorption, and pressure needs to be maintained. And sometimes when the pressure is not optimum, the bag is utilized. Then the gas is filled in this buffer tank. So you have these buffer tanks, two in parallel, and each buffer tank can hold around 4 to 5 kgs of gas. The pressure is not very high. It's around 1.5 bars or so. That's why the holding capacity is not very much. Out of the buffer tank, the gas is now supplied to 2 compressors. So these are the 2 booster compressors. So this one is an imported one, and this one is an indigenous one, and they are used one by one, one at a time, and they're compressing the biogas or now to the compressed like the purified biogas to around 150 bars. And after compression, this gas is filled into tanks like this. So again, like these are the compressors running. We have the different valves coming in here through the system pipe. The tanks are being filled again. So this is the filling mechanism in place. So each tank holds roughly 15 kgs of gas. And the use as of now is in a nearby pharmacy that is using the gas for some heating purposes. Long-term aim is also to supply this gas as bio-CNG. In India, there is a very large push by the government to put bio-CNG in the use of bio-CNG in the vehicles, and these kinds of processes are being looked into. So giving a background view, the plant. So this is their water cooler. Again, you can see the desulfurization unit from behind. This is the water scrubber. These are the PSs in between, and we have the buffer tanks, the bigger one. Now let me take you to the manure unit. So this is the place where different solid fertilizers are being manufactured. The fertilizers are being filled into bags, and this is promoted for organic farming.
Yes, I have one more question.
Yeah.
Can you also tell us that how long this plant has been operational? I mean,
Okay, so
and
this
what is
plant
the
started operating in year 2018.
and operation cost for this? I mean, any idea which you can provide?
Okay, so the operation cost, like I believe I'm not the right person, and I will have to contact the plant operator for that. But this plant has been operating nicely for last 3 years. This started in 2018, and as of now, I can tell you like this has been working sufficiently, like, and is able to maintain its own cost, the running cost. Plus, I would like to add this was also a part of the CSR activity by ONGC, which is the Oil and Natural Gas Corporation of India. So the plant was basically funded by ONGC. So some amount of capex was funded. But as of now, the operations are concerned, they are self-sufficient in my knowledge. Does it answer your question?
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So let me take you to the other part of the plant. Now, the solid part of the slurry that is separated by the screw separator is dried into beds, and then we have this mechanism for refining that. So all the pieces or the raw pieces that get mixed into it are refined by this indigenous way of what do you call steering. So they have a nice tilt as well as so they can get nice refined organic solid fertilizer which can be readily used by the farmers. So you can see how rocks are being separated and the larger particles are being separated in here. And this manure is then filled into bags that I've shown you.
Any analytical reports are available about these fertilizer materials? Quality?
Analytical reports, again, this is something the plant operator can tell you better. So I can ask them if there have been studies. I believe there have been. So if you can mail me, I can check and reply back. That can be done. So here you can see the bags are filled in and they're ready to be sent to the location. So each bag is around 40 kgs or something. And given the renewed impetus on organic farming, these fertilizers are a lot in demand. And if some of you were present yesterday, I've shown the video of a farmer, and that farmer was nearby and was using the same fertilizers that are being produced in this plant. Apart from that, they're also collecting in liquids. So this is they're collecting the slurry and then modifying it for different liquid fertilizers. So this plant produces almost 42 different types of fertilizers, given like liquid and solids combined. The slurry is also used for vermicompost beds. So these are the vermicompost beds that are made up of the cow dung. And the slurry is also sprinkled on that. So if I move this, there would be a lot of, insects inside that are working for the vermicompost. And the liquid fertilizers are also being prepared in these tanks. So there are different formulations that are filled up in these tanks, and they are preparing different formulations. Also, I forgot to mention, in the solid unit, there was also a bioprom unit at the behind. I didn't take you there, but I believe you got a nice information of the bioprom unit in the yesterday's session. So these are some of the components of the plant in detail. And I will go and catch up the plant operator who would be knowing some of the questions that you are wanting to ask. Meanwhile, I would be happy to take any questions or any part of the plant that you will need to focus on right now. I can do that.
So any questions from the audience?
मैं फाहूंगी अगस्त आशा आ रहा है.
Yes, we have one question from Ms. Chandra. Please go ahead, ma'am. So we can take the questions meanwhile.
Maybe meanwhile, I would also like to show you the laboratory where the research is being done. So meanwhile, you can ask your questions, and I'll also take you to the laboratory.
वहाँ पे participants की list पे click करें यहाँ से.
Again, giving you a bird's eye view of the plant.
We can take one by one from Mr. Shanawar Hamid. Can you please unmute your mic and ask the question?
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. It's a very nice work that our guide is showing. I'm just curious about the electricity requirement of the whole system. Is this provided by, separate line, or it is being generated by the same gas, something like that? I'm just curious about that. Thank you. Can you hear me?
A good amount of Yeah. So let me show you the lab quickly, because the net connection is not very great now.
Professor Pratham, I think your voice is breaking. So Mr. Shanawar Hamid was asking about the electricity demand.
Okay. Yeah. So regarding the electricity generation, I believe a good amount of electricity is generated by the solar panels that they have. So they have around 200 kilowatts of electricity in-house production. So you can see the solar panels in here.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
The next question I would like to take from Chandra.
Can I repeat the question?
Yes, please. I mean, you can ask the question.
Thank you. From the slurry, you were talking about the liquid fertilizer production. Could you please just tell me, on that, how that is, I mean, whether it is treated and how it is, or whether it is separated, or how that is becoming, taking as this liquid fertilizer, and basically what is the NPK level or something, if you have any idea in that, the nitrogen level
So yeah,
particularly.
I think it would be great if you can mail me this question, and I'll ask a direct information from the plant operator.
Okay,
Because,
fine.
that would be great.
Okay, so
Great, thank you.
we can take another question, and that is from Mr. Asad Mahmood from Nika.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks very much for this live demonstration. My quick question from Mr. Pratham is is there any documented table you have which you have generated on the basis of mixture of like cow dung with some other sources? I have, in one of my demonstration projects I did was using the chicken shit, because it has more calorific value than that of the cow dung. So is there any sort of mixture combination or any tabular form research data you have analyzed, any table on the basis of real calorific value calculations?
I have not done that personally, but maybe this question can be better addressed by Professor Sanjeev, who has been doing these kinds of experiments. I can ask the plant operator if ये plant कभी किसी cow dung के अलावा किसी और चीज से use हुआ है? For sure. So this particular plant has never been operated apart from cow dung. So this is totally based on cattle manure. But as far as
again, a connecting question to it would be as you have to maintain the temperatures, the desi one of the jugaad or frugal engineering is over here, most of the domestic biogas plant owners, they use the sugar juice, extracted juice to enhance the chemical reaction. So so are there any enzymes and any specific rate list which you add during the temperature variation time period, summer and winter seasons?
Enzymes use करते हैं इसमें temperature को maintain करने के लिए, जैसे sugar cane का juice आता है, ऐसा कुछ enzymes है. So the plant operators have never been using any enzymes so far. So this particular plant has not been using any such things. Only a heater that I've shown you. Maybe I can show you that again.
But how the inside process control is done? There is a ICT system or there's a monitoring system?
So there are these agitators. And of course, there are different meters. I haven't shown you the control meter. So we have these agitators throughout the plant. I believe one of that is in focus. And then there are purity meters. Purity is being measured at different points, both for the gas as well as the plant. And we have the office in here where a total monitoring is being done.
So it may be automatic monitoring, I mean, throughout the day.
Everything. Yeah, throughout the day. You can see in here.
So Pratham, can you please show the participant a glimpse of the monitoring panel or the screen over there?
Sure, I can do that. Plus, there are different samples taken throughout the day, and they are measured through their portable meters as well.
So thank you, Pratham. I think now, just to keep the interest of the time, we have to move forward for our next session. And meanwhile, I think you have already recorded one video for this plant as well, right?
Yeah.
Any more questions from the participants that will definitely be answered on later on. So we can move. Can we now move towards our next session? Yes, Pratham, thank you so much for all your effort for making us this, plant visible live, that requires, and especially in the remote area where the connection was so weak. Thank you so much for all your efforts, Dr. Pratham.